Hello and welcome to the L.T.L. Tutoring Central Friday video series. And this Friday I'm talking about you be the teacher, you be the student. Now what do I mean by that? Well, it could go either way, but in my blog and in the video today I'm talking mostly to students, which could be young students, could be adult students, somewhere in between. We're all students in a way and we're all teachers in a way. And the idea of you be the teacher, you be the learner, or you be the student, is that you can teach yourself. And during your homework sessions, during your study sessions, try to become the teacher as well as the learner. Pretend that you're the teacher and you're teaching yourself. Or you can pretend you're teaching an imaginary student, but pick somebody you like. Don't pick someone you don't like, and that will be much more difficult for you. But by pretending that you're teaching someone, even if that's your imaginary self, you will learn so much more. We learn a lot by teaching someone else. And I think you've probably already had this experience. Almost everyone has taught someone something. You might not think of it that way because you might be thinking only of academic subjects like math or English or history or science. Now, you may have helped some people in those particular disciplines as well, but there are lots of other ways that you've probably taught someone how to ride a bike, or you've helped your younger brother or sister or your own child how to read, or you have shown someone how to play a board game or some other kind of game, a video game. You've learned how to do a certain video game and you want your friends or your siblings to play along, and so you teach them how to play. Or many little things that we don't necessarily think of as education or learning, but really they are learning. You were learning before you ever went to school. You've been learning ever since you were born. And a lot of that you taught yourself. Of course you have help along the way. You can't do everything when you're a baby. But you learn to sit up, you've learned to stand, you learn to walk. Yes, with some help, but also through your own efforts, through trial and error and practice, make some corrections, practice again, fall down, make some corrections, maybe tweak now and again, make a few changes, but you kept trying and trying and trying until you learned how to do all of these different things, including how to speak. Of course, other people have to be there in order to use the language for you to learn, but you kept practicing yourself as well. If you've ever watched young children, they'll be talking away to themselves even when there's no one around, and that's practicing. That's learning vocabulary and practicing vocabulary. And in the beginning it's mixed up with babble, it's mixed up with their own language, but the more they hear, the more they practice with people, but then again on their own, and they learn. So you learned a lot before you ever went to school. So there's no reason that you can't continue to be one of your own teachers. So obviously you learn from your teacher in class, but at home or wherever you study, you can also pretend to be the teacher. Think of questions you should ask yourself and then look for the answers. So you're doing a balancing between you're the teacher and you're the learner. Try to explain diagrams or try to explain certain themes in a story, or if it's a novel or a short story, explain the plot or explain the character. How does the character develop? By doing all of this, you're going to retain the information a lot longer, and you will have already practiced putting the information into your own words. So when there's a test or a quiz, even a pop quiz, you'll be ready because you've already done it. You've already expressed yourself in your own words. Of course, you can write things down also, but I'm just saying, pretend that you're the teacher as well as the learner. It also might make you more empathetic or understanding of the teacher's task. It's not always easy, particularly when you have a classroom of students who don't necessarily want to be there, many of them. So maybe you'll be more understanding when you realize just how challenging it is to think of the questions, to help students find the answers, and you're doing this yourself to some extent. Of course, you can also help someone else. That's another, not just an imaginary student. if you have classmates or even if you have brothers and sisters, if they're patient enough or interested enough to learn something. I know when I was younger, I always wanted to learn things that my siblings were doing, particularly languages. When my sister was learning French, I wanted to know French. It just seemed so interesting at the time. So you can teach them, or at least talk to them about what you're learning, and that reinforces it for yourself. Because again, you have to explain it in a way that is understandable to someone else, to someone who might not know very much about the topic. And by doing that, you're reinforcing it for yourself, and you're getting more of the understanding for you. So it's a gift to you, really. But even if you're on your own, like I say, you can teach yourself, so you can be both the teacher and the student at the same time. Of course, if you're a teacher or tutor like me, it doesn't hurt to put yourself into the student's shoes from time to time, to also remember how difficult it is sometimes to learn something new, and to be patient with the students so that they can continue to try and continue to learn, and they may need to learn in a slightly different way and might need some assistance in that regard. As a student, you might learn yourself that you need to approach a task in a certain way, and in fact, you could chat with the teacher and help her or help him understand what your needs are as well. So there's lots to be gained by being both the teacher and the student at the same time. Okay, that's it for today. Don't forget to like the video or subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate that. You can also make a comment, ask a question, and I'll get back to you. Check out the website. I'll put the link below, and my email is on the website. I'll also put a link to the blog below. Have a look at that. It's talking about the same subject today, but there's lots of other entries there as well. So I hope to see you soon. In the meantime, keep having fun and keep learning. It's Ron from L.T.L Tutoring Central. Bye for today.